What's up? Today's movie review, Life of Pi. Yet another movie based on a book I hadn't read. Get in line, please, with Hunger Games. Now, I went to see this movie in 3D. I am a big fan of 3D. Yes, it's a gimmick. Yes, it's really quirky and blah 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 blah. If you don't like 3D, don't fucking watch it and don't pay for it. Shut the fuck up complaining about 3D. Simple as that. Like, you don't like it, don't watch it. I wanted to see it in 3D because I saw the trailer and I thought, wow, that looks amazing. I saw the whale jumping over the boat. The whole thing of like when you see Richard Parker, the tiger, talking towards Pi. I thought, wow, I need to see that. The animals in it, fucking amazing. In the opening sequence, the credits are fucking 3D. The animals look kind of 3D. There's a lot of depth. It's beautiful. It sets the movie up perfectly. So basically, this is no spoiler alerts in this. I'm just telling you now. Uh, Basically, it's about this boy Pi, who he follows different religions. He finds different religions. He's a Hindu, brought up a Hindu. He embraces Christianity and becomes a Muslim. Follows Islam, and his family owns a zoo. And they want to move to Canada because from Pondicherry. I think is it Canada? Yeah, whatever. They want to move to a better place for the family financially and whatever. So yeah, they want to move to there, and basically what they do is they load all their animals up on this boat that sits them. They start sailing across the Pacific. There's a storm. The boat sinks, but you don't know why. Pi gets off the boat, jumps into a lifeboat, which he doesn't realize. In the lifeboat, there's a zebra with a broken leg, a hyena's hidden underneath the tarpaulin, and then later on, an orangutan comes and the fucking hyena just pawns everyone off until the tiger jumps out and rips the shit out of him. He didn't even realize there was a tiger underneath the tarpaulin. And this whole movie is just basically chronicling what happens when Pi's on the boat with this tiger, and it's kind of showing you like how it starts off with. Pi's scared. He builds a raft to get away from the tiger. Then he's a vegetarian. He learns to fish and hunt and how to collect water so it's safe to drink. In the book, it's a lot more vivid. He's eating tiger shit and drinking his own piss because he's that desperate. So yeah, it kind of shows you what it's like when he's on there. How he's thirsty, he's parched. He's kind of becoming a man evolving. He gets territorial and it's sort of like just don't take shit from the tiger anymore. It's just trying to teach it to respond to the whistle. So when he whistles, it'll associate it with seasickness, so it leaves him the fuck alone and realizes it's his territory, kind of thing. And it's really great. The way it's told is it's like first person narrative, like he's telling his story to an interviewer. Like the guy's trying to write a book, and Pi's it's not his uncle, it's like his dad's friend, uh, tells the reporter that, tells the author that there's someone with an amazing story that'll make you believe in God. And in the movie, the author does something which I'm not sure is racist or prejudiced or not. I don't know, but he's up to Pine. He's like, oh, your uncle's like, well, my friend, you're looking for an Indian in French-speaking Canada who's got an amazing story. Well, I'll tell you, he's got a good story, and oh, by golly, that's good, and blah blah. They don't actually say that, but something along the lines of, oh, he's got an amazing story. It must be fate for you to meet, which is I think is kind of fucking insensitive. It's like me going to a Jamaican and doing some, yo man, you want some rice, some peas with your thing, your blood clap, bumper clap, piece of shit, you want to thump you on your face, why? Or going to an African and, oh, hello, would you like to buy something from Oxfam? I like being African, it's amazing, we have space and a lot of crazy shit and thing. I like to eat a lot of food, it make me feel good, kind of shit, like, I just thought the kind of bullshit in the movie to put that. Like, shit. So Pi's just recounting the story that happened years and years before. He's an adult now. He was a teenager then. And it's really a fucking inspiring story of... It's more about... it's not so much about being on a boat with a tiger. It's more about religion and perception. But it's kind of allegory undertone kind of thing. It's like, it's not telling you to believe in God or not believing in God. It's not about making you believe in God. It's more about sometimes you need to have a bit of faith, even when things look bad. Like it's not so much like, oh, but you watch this movie and you'll go, oh yeah, that would prove that God exists if this actually happened. It's more testing of Pi's faith. Of It's not about what you see, it's what you feel, it's in your heart, and blah blah blah, and never to give up on your faith. And sometimes you need to keep your faith, and good things will come. Kind of attitude. Or sometimes you have to make things happen yourself. Pies essentially tells two stories. One story, it's got the animals in the boat, and he survives for hundreds of days, and he finds this carnivorous island that by day it's swimming with food and like fish, and it's got meerkats. But then at night it turns really carnivorous, and the water turns to acid, and all the meerkats flee to, like all the meerkats kind of flee to the trees, kind of thing, to be safe. Which obviously no one believes when he gets back to the civilized world. No one believed that actually happened, that he'd been on a boat that long, survived with a Bengal tiger. It just doesn't seem likely how he didn't get ate by a shark or drowned or something. So he tells another story to them that's more believable, that's realistic, that they can write down, where really he's in a boat, his mum's in there, and there's like a cook and a sailor, and the cook kills the sailor and his mother, and Pi kills the cook as a result. And obviously that story is the less magical, but the more realistic. Like, you'd believe that if you heard that, you'd think that's more realistic than he was stuck there with a tiger and an orangutan and a zebra and a hyena and finds Carnivorous Island. It seems more believable and realistic that humans in that situation would panic, would get aggressive, would think I've got nothing to lose, and being shipwrecked or being a castaway affects people that way. They do go a bit mental. Remember that Lord of the Flies book? So that seemed like the more believable of the two, but less magical. That's kind of a metaphor for life. Like, you can either have it where it's colourful, it's interesting, there's all these stories that are a bit far-fetched, but you feel it in here, or there's a book where it's not far-fetched. Like, the other one was more realistic, but it was very morbid, very dark, and it was kind of like the reality of life. And in the end, it's which one do you believe? Do you believe that life's a dull, dark place? Or do you believe that having faith is good in the sense that you have more freedom in the way you think, you're more open, it's better for your soul because you think there's a higher purpose out there? It's not just things are dark and it's always going to be this way because there's no God or whatever, It's a movie you really have to pay attention to. You leave it kind of going, so which one was the true story? Because it doesn't tell you which one it is. So I think Jan Martel left it that way on purpose, so you can think what you want. You can take what you want from it, and which one you choose is based on your philosophy, your way of thinking in life. Of, is everything the way it's supposed to be? What you see is what you get, and that's it. And the world's a dark place. It's evil. That's the way that's the way it is. Or do you believe that it's better out there? And sometimes prayer and faith and belief is what's really going on. So it does. I think if you just left it with, oh, it was a tiger in a boat, some people would read it and go, absolute bullshit, and put it down, and never refer it to their friends. But this is a fucking story that's worth reading. If you read the book, it's very, very vivid with what he's saying. And sometimes I had to read a page back again because he was so descriptive. I had to go back and understand each line of what he was saying because it was doing sometimes it's like a manual of explaining. There's the odd joke in there. There's the odd little thing in the book that makes you giggle a bit, like hee hee hee. It's the first time I've read a book and actually physically laughed out loud from something because it just said something funny, and I was like, I've never laughed at it because of a book before, and it's just an interesting thing. So sometimes you read the book and you sort of feel you do put yourself in that position, which is something that was different from when I read The Hunger Games. I felt like I'm kind of in the boat with Pi, not so much him. I'm not him, because he's reading the story to the interviewer, but you kind of feel like how the author would have felt. He would have been in the story with Pi, and every time a wave crashed, you'd panic, and it was a great adventure story, a great story about hope, a great story about religion. If you read the first part is quite long, but it's more about Pi as a person, his beliefs, how we got that way, and his way of thinking, and that's kind of sets up for the way he behaves, and you kind of see the difference when he's in the boat, because he changes from being this vegetarian, skinny, kind of a wimp, because his name's really Piscine, so people call him Pissing, and you kind of get away from being this nerdy little kid who like people took the piss out of him because of his multiple beliefs, to he's being a man. And you see him develop and stop being timid and being shy and standing up and protecting his territory from this Bengal tiger on a lifeboat and using a survival plan and rationing, and he's hunting properly and fishing properly, and he's thinking logically, and he's doing a lot of things a 16-year-old probably wouldn't do if they were in that situation. So you see he's developed as a character. Amazing thing to read. Sometimes it does tire you out a bit because it's so vivid and you're reading a page and you're doing that because you're just getting so tired reading how vivid it is, but it's an awesome book to read, so it's not something you'll regret reading. Awesome book, read it, and I'll see you later, you bastards. And just as always, comment, rate, subscribe. If you want a review doing movie or book, inbox or comment or leave something below and I'll sort that shit out for you. See you later, have a great day, you bastards.